95% of the time in our lives, we know what we should be doing to live better lives, but we don't always do it. Knowing doesn't mean that you'll do what you know you should do. My name is PhillipRamphisa, the life and the business performance coach. In this video, I want to share with you 3 ways to move from I know to I do. In our lives, we don't always do what we know we should do. We do know that we should always exercise, but sometimes some of us do not do that. We do know that we should work harder and pursue our goals, but sometimes life gets in the way, we procrastinate, and we don't do what we should do. We know that we should be loving partners, but sometimes life is such that we get so busy and we don't pay attention to our relationships. So knowing doesn't always mean we will do what we need to do. So in this video, I want to share with you 3 ways to move from I know to I do. Number 1, you've got to reduce your tolerance levels. Sometimes in our lives we tolerate too much of the things that we should not be tolerating. Yes, occasionally in life it's okay to compromise. And there are times in our lives when we need to compromise. But compromising isn't the same as tolerance. When you compromise, it's usually temporary because you know you should compromise something to do something else. But when you tolerate, it is something that stays in long-term basis. So sometimes in our lives we tolerate too much. Sometimes in our life we settle for less. So number 1, you gotta reduce your toleration levels. So you gotta decide now what you'll no longer tolerate in your life. Decide right now that you'll no longer tolerate procrastination in your life, as an example. Decide right now that you no longer in your life tolerate being unfit. And decide right now that in your life you'll no longer tolerate not taking action on your goals. You've got to decide in your life what you'll no longer tolerate. When you do that, you move yourself much more closer to moving from I know to I do. That is number 1. Number 2, you've got to improve your behavioral standards in your life. And I say this intentionally. Normally the term that I would have used would have been increase your life standards. But I don't want to say increase your life standards. Instead, I want to say you've got to improve your behavioral standards, because in life everything is about behavior. It is our behavior that leads to taking action and reaching our goals. It is our behavior that sometimes prevents us from achieving our goals. So if you improve your behavioral standards, you move much more closer to achieving your goals. If, for instance, you begin to exercise every afternoon, if you begin to adopt that behavior, it moves you much more closer to having health and vitality in your life. If you begin to take action in your goals every time and decide that you'll no longer postpone taking action, that moves you much more closer to achieving your goals. So as a behavior standard, you can decide that you'll no longer procrastinate, or you can decide to adopt a new behavior, like exercising in the afternoon or waking up much more earlier in the morning. So improve your behavioral standards. Decide what you will do in terms of your behavior to move much more closer to achieving your goals. Just having a standard might not be enough. Just increasing your life standard might not be enough, because everything is about behavior. It is what we do. So decide now what you'll adopt and do, and what standard you'll adopt for your new behaviors to move much more closer to your goals. That is number 2. Number 3, you've got to become instead of wanting. So many times we want in our lives. We want so many things in our lives. We want to achieve our goals. Maybe you want to become a successful business person, and maybe you just want to become a much more loving partner. We keep on wanting and wanting and wanting. Maybe you just want to be fit and have more vitality in your life. We just want and want and want. Now what I usually say is that do not want, just become. I usually use these examples. Imagine that 2 people wanted to be musicians, and one person just think about it, and they just think about the fact that they want to be a musician. And another person does it differently. They just become a musician. They just buy a guitar and a microphone and they start singing. Maybe just like I'm doing now, they start taking videos of themselves singing. Who do you think has much more odds of becoming a singer? The person who has taken action has much more odds of becoming a singer. The person that just did not want and that became has much more odds of becoming a singer. And sometimes we just sit around and we think about what we want and we don't become. So if you want to be an entrepreneur right now, just start becoming one. Start thinking entrepreneurial. Start writing that business plan. Start thinking across opportunities and ways to create value. Just become. If in your organization you want to be a CEO, well, instead of focusing just on your work, start thinking across the business. Start thinking about how the business is making money. Start thinking about the HR function. Start thinking about the finance function. Start thinking about markets, the economy, and how the economy is affecting the business that you are in right now. So just become, don't just want. And really, that is number 3. Those are the 3 ways that you can use in your life to move from I know to I do. And if you do those things, you won't just know what you want to achieve. You'll move into a place where you do what you really want to achieve. So those are the 3 ways that I wanted to share with you. I wish you so much luck on your success journey. Good luck on your success journey.